Candidates have just a few more days to win over undecided Saskatchewan voters. I'm joined now by our contributors panel, a group of community leaders from across the province. Jaris Swidrovich is a First Nations pharmacist in Saskatoon. Adrienne Ivey is a rancher and agriculture advocate in Ituna. And Juliet Bushi is an educator and PhD student in Regina. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Jaris, let's start with you. What's a key issue that you're focusing on as we get closer to Election Day?
I'm really focusing on harm reduction and the opioid crisis that is being witnessed in Saskatchewan and Canada-wide. I'm looking for policies, I'm looking for information about overdoses and overdose deaths and how we are combating this crisis that we're facing in Saskatoon specifically and also across the entire province.
Adrienne, what's top of mind for you?
I have been watching very closely from all political parties to make sure that they are committed to making science-based decisions going forward. We use science every day here on the farm, whether it is how to treat a sick animal or how to control the weeds in our fields. Science is everything. So it is imperative that whoever forms government, that they are committed to using sound science and actual facts to make policy rather than public perception or maybe what might only be a current trend.
Juliet, as an educator, what's something that you would like to see addressed?
Absolutely. I would like to see, policies as well that will improve the equal representation of Black and Indigenous people, as well as people of color in the education system, as well as a stronger voice for those people. So again, really giving people of color and Black people equal opportunities as well in the education system and our students as well. So those are the things that I'm really looking forward to.
Back to you, Jaris. I'm wondering, what are the most urgent steps the province needs to take when it comes to harm reduction?
Yeah, so unfortunately right now, those most urgent steps are being filled by community-based organizations that are not being appropriately funded by our current sitting provincial government. For example, we are seeing record numbers of overdose deaths, as I mentioned, related to opioids, crystal meth, and other substances. But Prairie Harm Reduction, for example, which opened our province's very first safe consumption site, so not only injectable drugs, but also by inhalation and other routes, they were denied funding from our current provincial government, so as well as many other community-based organizations that are working toward the same goals. Unfortunately, HIV and Hep C are the highest in terms of rates in Saskatchewan versus other provinces, and this is primarily driven by injection drug use. So we do need some safe ways for people to use medication and use substances while we address the other social determinants of health for them to live a healthier, happier life. And I just don't seem to understand why this is left on the back burner, because people are literally dying right here in our province and not enough is being done.
Adrienne, what is the main thing that the next government needs to do to ensure policy decisions around agriculture are made in the best interest of farmers?
I think that it is really imperative that the government has extensive networks within the scientific community so that they can fully understand any issues. And I really want to say that this is not an issue that is solely for agriculture. I think that's more apparent than ever in these COVID times. It is essential that our government is seeking out the latest research that's happening across the world right now when it comes to COVID, and really has teams in place of brilliant minds that are able to analyze data and research as it's ongoing. I think the bottom line is whether it is decisions that are being made on pesticides or GMOs or masks and vaccines, it's really, really important that those decisions are made on science, not protests.
And Juliet, what are the main steps the government needs to take to ensure that people of color are better represented in the education system?
Thank you for that question. So again, implementing policies that will, support and also encourage Black people and people of color in the education system, as well as acknowledging systemic racism and barriers, and addressing those barriers that many Black people face, so that when you have a guy an educator from Congo with the same education qualification and work experience with a guy from France, so that they will have the same opportunity as well in entering the francophone education system. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for. So again, implementing those policies that will support and encourage Black people in the education system.
Jaris Swidrovich, Adrienne, Ivey, and Juliet Bushi, thank you so much for being here. You will hear from our contributors panel again on election night.